The moment the council saw the human smile fade, and the predator awaken. Towering pillars of iridescent metal stretched toward the unseen ceiling, and holographic banners floated in midair, displaying symbols of countless civilizations. The air vibrated with the quiet hum of advanced technology. Delegates from 100 worlds had gathered, each representing their species, each radiating the confidence of millennia of survival. Some of them looked like predators from old tales, tall, sharp, and terrifying. Others were strange, amorphous beings, constantly shifting shape. And then there was humanity, represented by one man. Elias Ward walked into the hall with calm confidence. He was an ordinary human, dressed in the simple yet formal uniform of the United Earth Council. Unlike many delegates from other species, he carried no weapons, no visible tools of war, no imposing artifacts to show strength. His presence was quiet but steady, his brown eyes calm and alert. Even among all these alien forms, he carried himself as if he belonged, not arrogant but self-assured. The council watched him curiously. Many had expected humans to be strange, timid, or desperate. After all, humanity had only recently joined the interstellar community. They had no giant warships, no centuries-old fleets, no known colonies beyond a handful of nearby star systems. Yet Elias moved as if he had the right to be there, and something about the way he smiled, a gentle, friendly smile, puzzled the council. He stepped forward to the central platform. A soft light followed him, highlighting the small human figure among towering aliens. He raised his hands in a gesture of respect and spoke in the universal tongue of the council. His voice was calm, measured, and warm. "Honored members of the council," he began, "I come from Earth, a planet that has known conflict, cooperation, hardship, and hope. We are here today not to demand recognition, but to offer friendship. We wish to share knowledge, trade peacefully, and learn from all of you." A ripple of amusement ran through the council chamber. Several species, particularly the predator-like delegates, whispered and nudged each other. One of them, a tall creature with jagged scales and piercing yellow eyes, hissed under its breath, "Pathetic. They smile while standing before us. Weaklings." Another, a long, tentacled being with shimmering blue skin, added, "Do they not see who they face? Diplomacy will not save them from the harshness of the galaxy." Elias noticed the murmurs but did not flinch. He continued speaking with the same calm warmth. "We know that humanity is young compared to most of you, but young does not mean incapable. We have survived because we learn quickly, adapt rapidly, and when needed, stand together as one. Our ways may seem gentle to you, but they are rooted in experience with a world that can be as deadly as any star system you know." There was a moment of silence. Some delegates stared, confused. A few leaned forward, curious. No one could deny that Elias' calm confidence was unusual. The predator-like species, in particular, expected fear or subservience. They expected trembling, anxious faces and quick submission. But this human, he smiled. And that smile was not fake. It was quiet, unshakable, and unnervingly confident. The council chair, a luminescent being with 4 rotating eyes, cleared its throat. "Human Elias Ward," it said, its voice echoing across the chamber. "Your people are young. You have requested peaceful access to interstellar trade networks, yet many of our members doubt your readiness. Can you prove that your species will not bring chaos or harm?" Elias' smile widened just slightly, not arrogantly but warmly. "We do not seek to prove ourselves through force. We seek to prove ourselves through cooperation, fairness, and understanding. Give us a chance, and you will see that humans value life, peace, and mutual benefit. We hope to contribute to the council, not threaten it." Some delegates whispered among themselves, puzzled. Others simply laughed quietly. "Empty words," said the jagged-scaled predator, the one with yellow eyes. "All species value life until power tempts them. Humans have no proof." "How can you convince us that your soft smiles are not just weakness?" Elias nodded slightly. "I understand your concern. Words alone are not proof. We are ready to accept a challenge, a test, or any trial you deem fit. We will not complain, we will not panic, and we will show that humans can rise to meet any demand." For the first time, some delegates in the chamber looked uneasy. His confidence was steady, but it was not arrogance. He did not threaten. He did not shout. He did not beg. And yet there was a weight to his presence, a quiet power. The predators, who had expected an easy mockery, began to frown. The council chair rotated slightly, the many eyes of its body scanning every human gesture. "Your words are calm, human. Many species display confidence, but few can maintain it under scrutiny. If your people are truly worthy, they will need to endure more than words. A test will be designed, a challenge to determine if your species can survive under pressure and if your diplomacy holds when faced with adversity. Elias' expression did not change. His smile remained. "We accept your test," he said simply. "We do not fear challenge." "We welcome it." The predators exchanged looks of disbelief. One of them muttered, "They agree so quickly, no fear at all, strange." "Yes," hissed another, "too strange." The rest of the chamber murmured in anticipation. The council had faced countless species in its long history. Most species showed some hesitation, some doubt, some fear when the trial was announced. Yet here was a human standing alone, smiling quietly without a trace of panic or arrogance. It was unsettling. Outside the chamber in the human delegation's ship, Elias met with his team. Captain Mara Singh, a tall woman with sharp eyes and a precise mind, watched him closely. "Elias," she said, "do you really think the council will accept us without punishment? You've seen their reactions. They think we are weak. They will try to break us." Elias shrugged lightly. "Let them try. They will find we are not what they expect. But we cannot anger them, nor can we show fear. We must be steady, calm, ready." Mara raised an eyebrow. "You make it sound too easy. They can be cruel." "Some of these species have destroyed entire planets to test newcomers." Elias smiled faintly, though there was a seriousness in his eyes. "I am aware. That is why we must prepare, but first we must listen. We observe, we adapt. Humans have survived far harsher worlds than this galaxy can imagine. Our strength is not in muscle, nor in weapons alone. It is in our minds, our unity, and our resolve." Meanwhile, in the council chamber, the predator delegates whispered among themselves. "I do not like this," growled the jagged-scaled alien. "Humans are soft, but this calm, this patience, it is unnatural, dangerous." Another nodded. "Yes, there is something hidden beneath that smile. I can feel it. I do not trust it." The council chair's voice rang again, commanding attention. "Then it is settled. Humanity shall face the trial. We shall test your ability to protect a neutral world, using only your resources and intelligence. You will face conditions that will challenge your survival instincts, your strategic skills, and your resolve. If you fail, your species' place in the galaxy will remain limited." Elias nodded, his smile unwavering. "We accept. We will meet your expectations, and perhaps quietly surpass them." As the delegates began to leave the chamber, some lingering to discuss the human demeanor, Elias stayed for a moment, looking out across the hall. The light reflected off the metallic pillars, highlighting the diversity of species. He understood the subtle glances, the whispers, the doubt. And yet, he felt no fear, not because humans were fearless, but because he knew what humans could endure. He knew what his people could accomplish when united. The galaxy might see only a human smile now, but there was a predator within, waiting for the moment it must awaken. And though none in the chamber realized it yet, that moment was coming. The council's decision had been made, and the human delegation accepted it with calm dignity. Humanity would face a trial designed to test their worthiness, a trial many other species would have feared. The challenge was simple in words, but almost impossible in practice. Protect a neutral world, designated Solara 7, from simulated threats and natural disasters using only human resources. No outside help, no shortcuts. The galaxy watched, curious, some with amusement, others with disdain. Elias Ward returned to Earth's Fleet Command Center aboard their flagship, the Unity. Captain Mara Singh met him at the bridge, her expression serious. "Elias, the Council's trial is no small matter. Solara 7 is considered safe, but they've designed this to push our limits. If we fail..." Her voice trailed off, but the implication was clear. Failure would be disastrous, not just politically, but for humanity's reputation in the galaxy. Elias' calm smile did not falter. "We do not think of failure, Mara. We think of solutions. The Council will throw every challenge at us, and that is why we must be ready for anything." He paused, scanning the crew around him. "The galaxy expects panic, weakness, hesitation. They will see none of that from us. We will be steady, calm, and adaptable." Mara shook her head slightly, impressed despite herself. "You make it sound too easy." Elias smiled faintly. "That is because we have survived far harsher trials than this. Remember, humans thrive on adversity. We do not panic. We do not complain. We observe, adapt, and act. That is our strength." The human fleet departed for Solara 7, a small planet at the edge of the Orion sector, known for its fragile ecosystems and unpredictable storms. The Council's monitors were already watching, eager to see if humans would falter. Most delegates expected chaos, panicked humans, mismanaged resources, or outright failure. None expected calm, quiet efficiency. When the humans arrived, they were greeted with the sight of a world that looked peaceful at first glance. Verdant forests stretched across continents, rivers sparkled under twin suns, and the cities were small, almost primitive by interstellar standards. But as human sensors scanned deeper, subtle signs of danger appeared. Unstable tectonic zones, unpredictable weather patterns, and faint energy signatures hinting at rogue satellites from nearby species. The Council had designed this as a test, and humanity understood that the challenge was greater than mere observation. It was survival under pressure. Captain Mara Singh addressed the crew. "We will not panic. The Council expects us to fail. They want to see chaos. We will not give it to them. We will prepare, adapt, and protect this world. Nothing else matters." Teams of human engineers, strategists, and field operatives spread across the planet. They began analyzing the terrain, studying cities, and preparing contingency plans. What impressed the Council and later shocked them was how humans operated with calm precision. No one shouted orders. No one panicked when initial readings showed unstable weather approaching. Humans simply adapted. They built storm shields, rerouted energy grids, and designed evacuation paths for civilians. The Predator delegates whispered among themselves. "Why do they not panic?" hissed the jagged-scaled one. "Every other species would scream, argue, collapse. These humans, they are too calm. It is unnatural." "Patience," muttered another tentacled alien. "Observe, there is more beneath the surface. I can feel it." As humans worked, Elias walked through the control center, observing quietly. Sensors reported a sudden spike. A rogue asteroid was approaching Solaris 7. It was small, but large enough to cause massive damage if it hit a populated area. Human engineers and pilots immediately mobilized. Without a single shout, teams coordinated defenses, calculated trajectories, and launched interceptors. Within minutes, the asteroid was destroyed harmlessly in the upper atmosphere. Not a single civilian panicked. Not a single system failed. The Council watched, astonished. Some delegates shifted in their seats. One Predator muttered, "They are efficient, far too efficient. How can they be so composed?" Another replied, "They do not fear death, or perhaps they do, but it does not control them. Strange, very strange." Elias returned to the bridge and spoke softly to Mara. "They are watching. The Council expects failure, but we will not give them what they want. This is just the beginning." Hours turned into days. The human teams continued their work, facing a series of simulated threats the Council had secretly introduced. Sudden storms, minor earthquakes, energy anomalies, and hostile drones. Each time, humans responded with calm determination, using creativity and intelligence. The Predators began to murmur among themselves with unease. "These humans, they do not act as we expect. They do not panic. They do not complain. They adapt, always adapt." Elias remained a quiet presence, walking among his teams, observing, encouraging, and guiding without showing strain. His calm smile never faded, but there were moments when his eyes sharpened. Behind the warmth was an understanding of what humans could endure and what they could achieve when pushed to the limit. The Council had underestimated not just human intelligence, but their experience with survival under pressure. During one of the simulated attacks, a sudden, violent electromagnetic storm, the human city grids began to flicker. Emergency teams moved quickly, diverting power, repairing circuits, and coordinating shelters. Children were evacuated safely, elderly citizens guided to secure areas. To the Council, it looked almost effortless. Yet each human involved felt the weight of responsibility, the tension, and the urgency. And still, no one panicked. Mara glanced at Elias during the storm. "How do you do it?" she asked. "I can feel the tension in the air, and yet you remain calm." Elias smiled faintly. "Because we must. Panic solves nothing. Chaos solves nothing. Humans survive by thinking clearly, by acting decisively, and by trusting each other. That is what they expect us to fail at, our unity, our calm. But that is exactly where we are strongest." Even as the Council watched, the humans were quietly surpassing every expectation. The Predator delegates leaned forward, frowning, realizing the test was slipping from their control. "This is impossible," hissed the jagged-scaled alien. They should have failed by now, yet every time they adapt, every time they survive. The test became even more difficult. The Council introduced external threats in the form of rogue mercenary drones, sabotaged resource stations, and unpredictable energy surges. They expected humans to panic, argue, or collapse under pressure. Instead, humanity responded with methodical intelligence. They analyzed patterns, used predictive modeling, and coordinated responses with calm precision. Every failure became an opportunity for adaptation. Every challenge met with unity and creativity. During one intense moment, a large drone attack targeted the main energy hub of the city. The humans were outnumbered and outgunned. Yet instead of fleeing or retreating, human engineers devised an ingenious strategy. They redirected the drone signals, used decoy energy patterns, and disabled the drones without harming civilians. The predators watching were forced to lean closer, their sharp claws and tentacles tensing with disbelief. "Impossible," muttered the jagged-scaled predator again. They are too calm, too clever, too human." Elias stood in the command center, observing the operation quietly. His smile remained, but it had a different quality now, not just warmth, but quiet focus. He knew the humans were showing the Council their strength, but also their restraint. They would not harm unnecessarily. They would not seek glory. They would protect the innocent first. That was what the Council did not expect. Humans who could act with lethal precision yet remain merciful. By the end of the first week, Solara 7 was fully stabilized. Natural disasters were mitigated. Civilian populations were protected. The rogue drones and threats had been neutralized efficiently without unnecessary destruction. The Council convened to review the progress. Many delegates whispered among themselves, surprised and unsettled. "Why do they not panic?" one predator hissed. "Every other species would collapse by now." Another said, "They are different. I do not understand them. They show patience, intelligence, and restraint, dangerous restraint." Elias addressed his team in the command center after the Council's review. "The galaxy expects us to falter. They expect fear, weakness, and mistakes, but we will not give them any. Our strength lies in calmness, unity, and intelligence. Let the Council test us as they will. We will show that humanity is worthy not through anger or force, but through wisdom and perseverance." Captain Mara nodded. "It's impressive, Elias. The Council thought they could intimidate us, but we've turned the trial into a demonstration of who we really are." Elias allowed himself a small, quiet smile. "Yes, and the smile they see now is not weakness, it is confidence, confidence born from understanding who we are and what we can endure." As the human fleet prepared for the next phase of the Council's trial, a faint unease spread among the Predator delegates. They had underestimated humans, assuming smiles meant weakness. But the humans had shown they could endure, adapt, and act decisively under pressure. The galaxy had yet to see the full extent of their strength, and the Council, despite its centuries of experience, had yet to awaken the true predator within humanity. The test had begun, and the humans were already changing the way the galaxy perceived them, not through words, not through threats, but through calm, intelligent action. The predators whispered, uneasy now. They could feel it. The humans were not merely surviving. They were learning, adapting, and quietly preparing for what was to come. And the moment Elias Ward's smile faded, when the test truly demanded more than patience, the Council would witness the awakening of something they could not ignore. Something that had always been part of humanity, the predator that survived against impossible odds. The calm efficiency of humanity had surprised the Council. Reports streamed in continuously from Solara 7, every threat mitigated, every disaster contained, every civilian safe. The predators in the Council chamber leaned closer, their claws, tentacles, and sharp teeth betraying the unease they could not voice. Humanity was performing perfectly, but the Council had not yet unleashed the true test. Elias Ward, aboard the flagship Unity, watched the planet's surface with quiet intensity. The human teams had stabilized the cities, rerouted power grids, and created emergency shelters. They had handled rogue drones, unpredictable storms, and minor earthquakes. Yet he knew the Council's true trial was about to begin. A sudden alert flashed on the bridge. Sensors detected multiple unidentified spacecraft entering the Solara 7 system. They were sleek, black, and moving with deliberate precision. These were not random attackers. They were mercenaries, highly trained and equipped with advanced weapons, clearly dispatched to observe human responses and apply pressure. The Council expected humans to panic, to scramble, or to argue over resources. Elias remained still. His smile, calm and gentle, did not waver as he addressed Captain Mara Singh. Prepare the defense teams, deploy the drones and interceptors. Civilian safety comes first. We will protect Solara 7, and we will do it without panic or hesitation. Mara studied him closely. Elias, these are real attackers. The Council didn't warn us. This is more than a test now. They could destroy us if we react poorly. Elias' eyes sharpened, though his smile remained faint. That is why we remain calm. Panic is the enemy. Strategy, patience, and teamwork will be our shield. Human pilots took to the skies, interceptors forming precise formations around critical areas. Engineers monitored energy flows, ensuring no civilian sectors would lose power. Field operatives positioned themselves at key locations, ready to evacuate civilians or disable enemy systems. Every movement was precise, almost choreographed, but spontaneous enough to respond to unpredictable threats. The Council watched, their amusement fading. They do not falter, hissed one Predator delegate. They are calm even facing real attackers. How is this possible? Another replied, voice trembling slightly. I do not know. No species survives like this. They are disciplined, lethal, yet merciful. On the ground, the human teams coordinated perfectly. Enemy drones approached a major city, firing energy pulses to disable infrastructure. Human engineers immediately deployed energy shields, rerouted power, and activated automated defense turrets. Simultaneously, field teams guided civilians to secure shelters. The Council expected panic, screaming, and mistakes. Instead, humanity responded with calm precision. Elias walked quietly among the command centers, observing every movement. He was the anchor, the calm in the storm, yet behind his steady smile, a deeper intensity was stirring. For the first time, humanity faced a threat that was not theoretical or simulated. This was real danger. Lives hung in the balance. And Elias knew the smile would have to fade if the Council truly wanted to see humanity's predator awaken. The first explosion rocked the outskirts of the city. A rogue drone had slipped past the defenses, striking a civilian sector. Alarms blared. Human teams immediately sprang into action, neutralizing the drone, guiding the civilians, and repairing damaged systems. The smile on Elias' face wavered slightly, just a shadow, but his eyes remained calm, calculating, and focused. The Council noticed the change immediately. A ripple of tension ran through the chamber. Look, hissed the jagged-scaled predator. The human, the smile, it falters. Another predator leaned closer, eyes wide. Finally, perhaps the weak facade is breaking. Perhaps we will see the truth of their species. Yet the Council did not understand. The fading smile was not fear, it was recognition. Elias understood the gravity of real danger. He understood the lives depending on human actions. The predator within humanity, the instinct to protect, to survive, to defend, was beginning to awaken. In the skies above Solara 7, the human response intensified. Interceptors engaged enemy drones with flawless coordination. Each drone was neutralized without unnecessary destruction. Engineers adapted energy shields in real time, creating barriers that absorbed incoming fire while keeping civilians safe. Field teams evacuated critical populations with efficiency that shocked even the Council's most experienced observers. Hours passed. The mercenary drones adapted, changing tactics and attempting to outmaneuver human defenses. Yet every change was anticipated. Humans had predicted patterns, adjusted strategies, and implemented contingencies. The predators watching muttered among themselves, clearly unsettled. They are learning, one hissed. Every attack is countered, every tactic anticipated. How can they adapt so fast? They are different, replied another. No species reacts like this. They do not panic, they do not flee, they do not seek glory. They are calculating predators hidden beneath soft smiles. On the bridge of the Unity, Elias continued to monitor. His smile had faded completely now. His face was calm, but his eyes burned with intensity. Every decision was critical, every life mattered. The predator's words in the Council did not concern him. Humanity's task was clear: protect the innocent, survive, and adapt. A second, larger wave of drones approached, targeting infrastructure and attempting to create chaos. Human engineers immediately rerouted power, field teams created decoy structures, and pilots formed advanced defensive formations. The attackers were skilled, but they had never faced humans who combined intelligence, adaptability, and ruthless precision with restraint. The first casualties occurred. A few drones broke through defenses and destroyed minor structures. No human lives were lost, but the losses were enough to make the human teams tighten their focus. Every failure was a lesson, every danger a stimulus to improve strategy. Elias walked among his teams, silent but observant. He no longer smiled. His calm was now the calm of focus, of a mind calculating possibilities, predicting movements, and preparing for every eventuality. The predator had begun to awaken. On Solera 7, civilians were protected. No panic spread. The human teams moved swiftly, efficiently, and with compassion. They did not seek revenge on the attackers. They did not show anger. They focused on survival, adaptation, and protection. The council watched the feeds in stunned silence. This was no longer a trial of skill or diplomacy. It was a revelation. The humans were not weak, nor were they easily frightened. They were something else entirely, creatures who could endure, who could protect, and who could strike with precision when necessary. The jagged-scaled predator whispered almost inaudibly, "They are not what we thought. They are predators hidden behind smiles." Another, tentacled and blue-skinned, nodded slowly. "Yes, but they do not seek conflict. They only act when it is necessary." Dangerous, very dangerous. Hours turned into a full day. The mercenary drones, frustrated by repeated failures, attempted a final, desperate strike. A coordinated attack on the city's main energy hub and evacuation centers simultaneously. It was a high-risk, high-reward maneuver designed to overwhelm human coordination. Elias remained still, eyes sharp, mind working at incredible speed. He analyzed patterns, predicted drone movements, and calculated optimal responses. Pilots, engineers, and field teams moved like extensions of his thought. Defensive shields were strengthened, decoy energy signals deployed, evacuation paths optimized. Every human acted with calm precision, turning chaos into controlled order. The council saw it unfold in real time. The predator delegates' earlier confidence had vanished. They leaned forward, claws tapping, tentacles twitching, teeth bared in disbelief. Humanity was surviving, adapting, and responding in a way no species in the galaxy had ever witnessed. Finally, the last drone fell. Solera 7 had been protected, civilians were safe, infrastructure was intact, human losses were minimal. And the council understood, too late, that the human smile had never been a sign of weakness. It had been a shield, a promise of peace, and a warning. Humans could choose mercy, but when pushed, their predator instincts could awaken with terrifying precision. Elias stood silently on the bridge of the Unity, gaze fixed on the planet below. His smile was gone, not out of anger or fear, but out of awareness. The predator had awakened within humanity, not to seek conquest, but to protect, to endure, and to act when necessary. The predators in the council chamber whispered urgently among themselves. They are not afraid, they are deadly." "They smile no longer," hissed the jagged-scaled alien, "and now the real danger begins." Elias did not speak, he did not boast. He merely observed, calm and controlled. The council had seen the first real awakening of the human predator. The galaxy would remember this day, not for violence, not for aggression, but for restraint, intelligence, and the terrifying power of a species that could survive against impossible odds. And though the council did not yet understand it, the true trial had only begun. The sky over Solera 7 was quiet for the first time in what felt like days. The rogue drones had been neutralized, the cities were intact, and the civilians were safe. Yet the sense of unease remained, not among the humans, but in the council chambers far away. The predator-like delegates leaned forward, their eyes sharp, claws and tentacles tense. Something about humanity had unsettled them. They had expected weakness, chaos, and failure. Instead, they had witnessed calm, precision, and resilience. And now, for the first time, they sensed the awakening of a predator unlike any the galaxy had ever known. On the bridge of the human flagship Unity, Elias Ward stood silently, his eyes scanning Solera 7. His smile was gone, replaced by a focused calm. He had watched his people adapt, protect, and fight with intelligence, not anger. The trials the Council had imposed were meant to test humanity's limits, But what they did not realize was that humans had always thrived under pressure. Survival was not new to them. It was instinct. Captain Mara Singh approached him, her expression mixed with awe and concern. Elias, the council is watching everything. They think they can challenge us, and yet we've already outperformed every expectation. Do you think they understand what we are? Elias shook his head slightly. They do not. They still see us as young, inexperienced, and perhaps weak. They do not realize that humans can endure anything, adapt to anything, and if necessary, strike with precision when protecting what matters. That is what they will see next. The next challenge arrived faster than anyone anticipated. Sensors detected a coordinated attack, multiple small fleets of mercenary ships moving toward Solara 7, aiming for civilian centers and infrastructure simultaneously. This was no simple test. This was a full-scale simulation designed to overwhelm human coordination. The Council wanted failure and perhaps a glimpse of panic. Humanity had already proved they would not falter under pressure. Now the predators would see the human predator revealed. Elias' expression hardened. Deploy all defense drones, activate energy shields, coordinate with field teams, protect civilians first, neutralize attackers second. And remember, no unnecessary destruction. We do not attack to dominate, we attack to defend. Mara studied him, noting the intensity in his eyes. Elias, this is more than the trial now. They're pushing everything they have. Are you sure we can handle it? He gave a faint, resolute nod. We must. Humans do not retreat. Humans do not panic. We adapt, we protect, and we act. That is what they will remember. Across the planet, human pilots took to the skies, interceptors forming layered defensive formations. Engineers monitored energy flows, redirecting power to shields, repairing minor damages instantly, and ensuring that evacuation centers remained fully functional. Field operatives moved with precision, guiding civilians to safety while tracking enemy movements. Every human action was calculated, adaptive, and flawless. The predators in the council chamber watched in disbelief. They are not overwhelmed, hissed the jagged-scaled delegate. Every move they make counters our expectations. How is this possible? They are intelligent beyond our predictions, replied another, and restrained, too restrained, dangerous restraint. On the ground, the attackers attempted to breach a major city. Drones fired energy pulses, attempting to disable shields. Human engineers instantly recalculated energy flows, strengthening shields in weak sectors and creating decoys to mislead the attackers. Pilots adjusted flight patterns mid-combat, forming unpredictable maneuvers that neutralized enemy drones without harming the surrounding city. Field teams evacuated civilians faster than the attackers could anticipate. The Council began to understand what the predators already feared. Humanity was not just surviving, they were outthinking every threat. They were not panicking, nor were they fighting for glory. They were acting with a lethal combination of intelligence, patience, and precision. Elias observed silently from the Unity. His face was calm, but inside, his mind moved faster than any machine. Every calculation, every prediction, every outcome had been considered. Humans had faced countless challenges on Earth, from natural disasters to conflicts that tested every limit of survival. This was another challenge, and humanity would meet it as they always had, with unity, adaptability, and focus. The final phase of the attack began. The attackers, frustrated by repeated failures, coordinated a simultaneous strike on multiple energy hubs and evacuation centers. Their goal was to create chaos, to overwhelm human coordination, and to force panic. Elias walked among the teams on the ground, calm but alert. He had seen every possible outcome in his mind, predicted enemy patterns, and prepared contingency measures. The human teams responded seamlessly, activating defensive shields, deploying decoys, and guiding civilians to safety. Engineers rerouted energy instantly, pilots engaged attackers with precision, and field teams coordinated evacuations with near-perfect timing. The Council's silence was deafening. The predators whispered, almost unable to comprehend what they were witnessing. They can manage chaos, muttered one. Every system is defended, every threat countered. How is this possible? They are something else, replied another. Not weak, not fearful, they are predators who choose when to act. Finally, the attackers were neutralized. Solara 7 was fully protected, civilians were safe, and the energy systems were intact. Humanity had not only survived, they had controlled the entire situation with intelligence, restraint, and precision. Elias returned to the Unity, walking quietly among his teams. His smile had returned faintly, but it was no longer the gentle, diplomatic smile of Part 1. It was a quiet acknowledgement of victory, tempered with the awareness of responsibility. The Predator had fully awakened, not to seek revenge, not to conquer, but to defend and protect with lethal efficiency if necessary. In the council chamber, the Predators and delegates whispered urgently. The jagged-scaled alien leaned forward, voice trembling. They are different, their calm was never weakness, their patience, their restraint, it is deadly. Another delegate nodded. Yes, and they do not act recklessly, they protect first, strike second. They are dangerous predators hidden behind smiles. The council chair, usually composed and commanding, rotated slowly, its many eyes narrowing. Humanity, we have underestimated them, it said softly. They have shown restraint, intelligence, and strategic skill beyond what we predicted. They are something unique. Elias addressed the council via holographic feed, calm and measured. We do not seek conflict. We do not wish to dominate, but we will protect what matters to us. This is the way of humanity. We act with intelligence, we act with restraint, and when necessary, we act decisively. That is our strength, that is our choice. The chamber went silent. The predators exchanged tense looks. For the first time, they understood the truth. Humans were not weak. They were not naive. They were a species that could endure, adapt, and act with precision when the situation demanded. And that combination, restraint coupled with lethal efficiency, was terrifying. Back on Solara 7, the human teams celebrated quietly. Not with loud cheers or reckless pride, but with satisfaction in a job well done. They had protected the planet, the civilians, and each other. Every failure had become a lesson, every threat an opportunity to improve. Humanity had survived, adapted, and demonstrated its true strength. Elias walked among his people, calm and steady. The Predator's whispers in the council chamber could not reach him. He did not need them to understand. He knew what humanity was capable of. He knew the Predator within them had awakened, not for destruction but for protection. And the council, despite all its experience and authority, had only just begun to understand the truth. Humanity was not to be underestimated. The galaxy had witnessed the first real display of human predatory instinct, controlled, intelligent, and restrained. And the Predators in the council chamber could not hide their fear. Elias' eyes scanned Solara 7 one last time before returning to the Unity. His face was calm, resolute, and unreadable. The human predator had revealed itself, not through violence, not through anger, but through intelligence, discipline, and the quiet power of restraint. The Council had watched humanity survive the impossible. And they had learned a lesson they would never forget. The most dangerous predators in the galaxy were not those who sought war, but those who could choose mercy and knew exactly when to act. Elias turned to Captain Mara Singh. We have shown them what humanity can do. The rest of the galaxy will remember this day. Mara nodded, awe in her eyes. Yes, Elias, they have seen the predator beneath the smile. And somewhere in the council chamber, the predators whispered, uneasy and wary. Humanity's place in the galaxy was no longer uncertain. They had revealed their true nature, and it was something that could not be ignored. The council chamber was unusually quiet. For the first time in its long history, the delegates were silent not because they were listening, but because they were unsettled. The human trial on Solara 7 had ended, and the reports were overwhelming. Every challenge the Council had thrown, natural disasters, rogue drones, mercenary fleets, had been met by humanity with calm, intelligent action. Every life had been protected. Every system had survived. And for the first time, the predators, the most experienced and feared species in the galaxy, were forced to acknowledge the truth. Humanity was unlike anything they had ever seen. Elias Ward appeared on the holographic feed at the center of the chamber. He was calm, composed, and quiet. His smile, which had faded during the trial, had returned faintly, not the naive, diplomatic smile from the first meeting, but a subtle expression of quiet strength. He spoke in measured tones, his voice steady, commanding attention. Honored members of the Council, Elias began, the trial you set before humanity has been completed. We have faced every challenge you designed, every obstacle you placed before us, and every danger you introduced. We have protected the innocent, adapted to unpredictable threats, and maintained our unity in the face of chaos. Humanity has survived not through violence, but through intelligence, cooperation, and perseverance. The chamber remained silent. Many delegates were stunned, some whispering urgently to one another. The predators, in particular, stared in disbelief. They had expected chaos, fear, and failure. Instead, they had seen calm, precise action and restraint. A jagged-scaled delegate hissed, "They are not weak. They are disciplined, and their calm, it is frightening." Another, tentacled and shimmering, added, "They act like predators, but they choose their moments. They do not seek conflict, yet when necessary, they are lethal." Elias continued, "Humanity does not seek to dominate, conquer, or destroy. We seek peace, cooperation, and mutual respect. But we will defend what we protect with intelligence and determination. That is our nature. That is our choice. And we hope this demonstration has shown that our species can be trusted, not only with membership in the Council, but with the responsibility to contribute positively to the galaxy." The Council chair rotated slowly, its many eyes narrowing, absorbing every word. "Humanity, you have surpassed our expectations, not by force, not by aggression, but by intellect, strategy, and restraint. Few species in the history of the galaxy could achieve what you have." The predators exchanged uneasy glances. They had faced countless challenges, yet none like this. None had combined restraint, intelligence, and lethal precision while protecting life at every step. Humanity's approach was unprecedented. Elias raised his hand slightly. "We are young in this galaxy, yes. But young does not mean weak. We learn quickly. We adapt faster than most, and when we act, it is with purpose and precision. We do not hide behind fear or intimidation. We act when necessary, and we protect when necessary. The galaxy may have underestimated us, but we hope it will no longer do so." Silence followed. For a moment, the chamber felt heavy with the weight of realization. The predators who had expected weakness felt something they had never anticipated: respect. And fear, not the fear of open war, but the deep, careful fear of a species that could endure anything and respond with controlled precision when challenged. Finally, the Council chair spoke again. "Humanity, we recognize our error. We have underestimated you. We now see that you are a species capable of surviving impossible odds, capable of protecting life, and capable of acting with intelligence under pressure. The Council formally offers humanity full membership without conditions. You have proven your worth." Elias nodded, keeping his calm demeanor. "We accept with gratitude, and we will continue to act with responsibility, intelligence, and care. Humanity seeks peace, but we are always prepared to defend what matters. That is our promise." The predator delegates, though still uneasy, bowed slightly in acknowledgement. They had learned an important lesson. The most dangerous predators in the galaxy were not the loudest, not the strongest, and not the most aggressive. They were the ones who could act decisively when necessary, remain patient, and protect what they valued. In the following hours, communication between humanity and other Council members changed. Species who had once dismissed humans as weak began to ask for collaboration, advice, and partnership. Humanity shared knowledge generously, offering solutions to environmental challenges, energy efficiency, and defensive strategies. They did not boast. They did not demand dominance. Their strength was clear, but their approach was humble. Back on Solara 7, the human teams continued their work quietly, ensuring that every civilian was safe, every system stable, and every threat neutralized. Elias walked among them, observing with calm pride. He knew the galaxy had seen a glimpse of human strength, and he also knew the true power of humanity went beyond the trial. It lay in their unity, adaptability, and restraint. Captain Mara Singh approached him as the last civilians returned safely to their homes. "Elias, you've changed the way the galaxy sees us. They understand now, but do you think they fully grasp what we are capable of?" Elias allowed a faint smile. "Perhaps not fully. But they will learn. Humanity does not seek to intimidate. We seek to survive, to protect, and to act wisely. That alone makes us formidable. They may never understand us completely, but they will remember this day." Across the galaxy, in distant systems, the Council's broadcasts showed the events on Solara 7. Every species could see the calm efficiency of humanity, the precise coordination, and the protection of life above all else. Slowly, perceptions began to shift. Predators who once dismissed humans now regarded them with caution and respect. Young species who had doubted Earth's place in the galaxy now saw them as capable allies and worthy members of the interstellar community. Elias returned to the Unity's bridge as the Council formally recognized humanity. His eyes scanned the stars, quiet and reflective. The trial had ended, but the lessons endured. The galaxy would remember the calm in the storm, the patience under pressure, and the predator that had awakened within humanity. In the council chamber, the predators whispered among themselves, still uneasy but with newfound respect. "They do not boast," hissed the jagged-scaled delegate. "They do not seek power, yet they are predators, patient and precise, dangerous, very dangerous." The tentacled delegate nodded. "And they do not forget. They remember lessons, adapt, and protect. This is a species that could survive anything. The galaxy should never underestimate them again." Elias finally allowed himself a quiet moment of relief. The trial was over. Humanity had proven itself, not through violence, not through intimidation, but through intelligence, restraint, and unwavering commitment to what they valued most. The predator within humanity had awakened, but it was a predator that acted wisely, always with purpose and discernment. The galaxy, the council, and even the predators had learned a vital lesson. Strength was not measured by aggression or cruelty, but by the ability to endure, protect, and act decisively when necessary. Humanity's place in the galaxy was secure, not because of fear, but because of respect. And as Elias Ward looked out at the stars, he knew that the smile humanity had once worn lightly and had faded in the heat of trial had left a lasting impression. The predator had awakened, the galaxy had taken notice, and humanity had shown that they were a force to be reckoned with, not through conquest, but through courage, intelligence, and mercy. The Council had witnessed it, the predators had feared it, and the galaxy had begun to understand it. Humanity was not to be underestimated. For the first time in its long history, the Galactic Council knew that a new kind of predator had emerged in the stars, not one driven by hunger or cruelty, but one that acted with precision, patience, and an unshakable commitment to protect life. And the galaxy would never be the same.